My husband, 40 male, admitted he slept with my older sister, 43 female, before we met, and I just found out. I feel like my entire world just tilted on its axis, and I don't know what to do with this information. I need help sorting through my emotions, because right now, I feel like I'm drowning. My husband, Ryan, and I have been together for 14 years, married for 11. We have 2 kids, a home, a life that I thought was built on a foundation of deep love and trust. We've always been each other's best friend. Our relationship has never been perfect, but we communicate well, we support each other, and I've always believed there were no secrets between us. That changed last night. It started so stupidly. We were having some wine after the kids went to bed, reminiscing about our early dating days, laughing about how awkward our first date was, when out of nowhere, Ryan got this weird, almost guilty look on his face. Then, as casually as if he was commenting on the weather, he chuckled and said, "I can't believe I never told you this, but I actually hooked up with your sister before I met you." I laughed at first. I thought he was joking. But the second I saw his face, his hesitation, the way he looked like he was bracing for impact, I knew. I think I just sat there, staring, my mind scrambling to process what I'd just heard. I asked him to repeat himself, and he sighed like a man carrying a weight for too long. Years before I ever met him, Ryan and my older sister, Sarah, had a one-night stand. It wasn't a relationship. Just a drunken hookup between 2 people in their mid-20s. They met at a party through mutual friends, spent a night together, and moved on. It meant nothing to either of them. Then, about 4 years later, he met me. And the moment he saw Sarah again, this time as my sister, he knew. He knew, and he never told me. I could feel my stomach drop as he explained. He said he didn't know how to bring it up, that by the time he realized who she was, we were already falling in love, and he didn't want to risk ruining what we had over something that happened years before I was even in the picture. So, he kept it to himself. He pushed it down. And so did Sarah. That's the part that stings the most. They both knew. All these years, every holiday, every birthday, every time I gushed to Sarah about how much I loved Ryan, they both knew. Ryan swears it was never a big deal, that it was a meaningless night, he barely even remembers. But it's not meaningless to me. I can't stop thinking about it. The fact that every single moment of our relationship, from our first date to our wedding to the birth of our children, happened while he was keeping this from me. And now, all I can think about is Sarah. Did she feel awkward at our wedding? When she watched me say I do, was she thinking about the fact that she'd had him first? Was it some kind of inside joke between them? I hate that my mind is going there, but I can't help it. I asked Ryan why he told me now, after all these years, and he just sighed and said, "Because I hated keeping it from you. And you deserve to know." And I do. But now that I do, I feel like I can't unknow it. I didn't sleep at all last night. I just laid there, staring at the ceiling, feeling so conflicted. Because I can't even say he betrayed me. He didn't cheat, he didn't lie outright. But he did keep a secret, a big one, and now I don't know how to move past it. And Sarah? I don't even know what to say to her. Should I? Should I call her and ask if she ever planned on telling me? If she spent all these years laughing behind my back? Ryan keeps saying it doesn't change anything. But it does. I feel like I lost something, and I don't even know what it is. How do I move forward? How do I stop feeling this deep, nauseating discomfort when I look at my husband? How do I handle my relationship with Sarah from here? I need advice. Because right now, all I feel is hurt. Update: I wasn't expecting my post to get the kind of response it did. Honestly, I was just venting, trying to put my emotions into words, because, at the time, I felt completely lost. But reading through all the comments, the different perspectives, the kind words, the tough love, it's been overwhelming in a way I didn't expect. I still don't know what I'm going to do. I think that's the hardest part, how gray this whole situation is. Some of you were adamant that my marriage is over, that Ryan keeping this from me was an unforgivable betrayal. Others told me I'd be making a mistake if I threw away 14 years of love and partnership over something that happened long before we even met. And I see both sides. That's what makes this so hard. For the past few days, I felt like I've been swinging between extremes. One moment, I feel like I'm overreacting. I tell myself it was years ago, it doesn't change our life together, it doesn't change how he loves me. Then, the next moment, I feel like my trust in him is completely shattered. Not because of what happened, but because he kept it from me for over a decade. Every anniversary, every milestone, every deep conversation about honesty and trust, I was living in ignorance while they both knew. I did end up talking to Sarah. I wasn't sure if I wanted to, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. The conversation was strange. She sounded almost relieved when I called, like she had been expecting it for years. She apologized for never telling me, but said she thought it was Ryan's place, not hers. She swears there was never anything between them beyond that one night, that she never looked at him as anything other than my husband after that, but I couldn't shake this weird, unspoken tension in her voice. I don't know if it's guilt, or awkwardness, or something else entirely. Talking to her didn't make me feel better. If anything, it just made the whole thing feel even weirder. And Ryan, he's trying. He's been giving me space, answering every question I have, constantly reminding me how much he loves me, and how much he regrets not telling me sooner. He says he was scared. That he thought it would hurt me more than help me. And he was right, it does hurt. But now I'm left wondering, is this the kind of hurt I can get past? Or is it the kind that lingers forever? A lot of people in the comments said something that stuck with me. Do you trust him now? That's the real question, isn't it? And I don't know the answer yet. I love him. I do. And maybe that's why this has shaken me so much, because it feels like a crack in something I thought was unbreakable. For now, I'm just sitting with my emotions. I haven't made any drastic decisions, and I don't think I will, at least not yet. I need to figure out if this is something I can truly let go of, or if it's going to fester in the back of my mind forever. Thank you to everyone who took the time to comment, whether you told me to leave or to fight for my marriage. Just hearing other perspectives has made me feel less alone in this. I'll update again when I know where my heart is leading me.
Subscribe to
The Human Condition.
Final update, it's been an emotional roller coaster since I first posted. I've gone through every stage, shock, anger, confusion, sadness, sometimes all in the same day. But after sitting with my feelings, talking things through, and really looking at what I want for my future, I finally feel like I have an answer. I'm staying. It wasn't a decision I made lightly, and trust me, I interrogated both Ryan and Sarah before getting here. I needed to lay everything out, to see them both in the same room, to make sure there wasn't something deeper, some hidden truth that I hadn't uncovered yet. So, I sat them down. No distractions, no way to avoid the questions I needed answered. And I asked them everything. I asked my sister if she ever had feelings for Ryan beyond that one night. She said no, and the way she said it, it felt genuine. I watched her closely, looking for any sign of hesitation, and there wasn't any. She said she barely remembered that night beyond it being a stupid, meaningless mistake, and when she found out I was dating Ryan, she had a moment of panic but quickly realized it didn't matter. Then I turned to Ryan. And I asked him the one question that had been eating at me. Why did you really keep this from me? He sighed, ran a hand through his hair, and just laid it all out. He admitted that when he first realized who Sarah was, he felt sick to his stomach. Not because he had done anything wrong, but because he was terrified of what it would mean if he told me. He thought it would taint our relationship before it even had a chance to grow, that it would put something ugly between us that didn't need to be there. He swears he was never planning to keep it a secret forever, but as time went on, and we built a life together, it became harder and harder to bring up. He was scared that it would change the way I looked at him. And the truth? It has changed the way I look at him. But not in the way I feared. I see him now, not as this perfect, infallible partner, but as a human being who made a deeply flawed decision out of fear. And while I wish he had told me sooner, I can understand why he didn't. There was no conspiracy. No hidden glances between them. No years of inside jokes at my expense, just a mistake from a long time ago, buried under guilt and good intentions. And once I really let that sink in, I realized something important. I still trust him. That was the thing I needed to figure out, if this had broken my ability to trust him moving forward. And after everything, I can honestly say that it hasn't. It still hurts. I won't pretend this isn't something I'll carry with me for a while. But I love Ryan, and I love the life we've built together. I can't throw it away over something that, in the grand scheme of things, really doesn't matter. Sarah and I? That will take more time. Not because I think she did anything wrong, but because there's a weirdness there now that didn't exist before. I think we'll move past it eventually, but it'll take some effort on both our parts. For now, I'm choosing to focus on what matters, my marriage, my family, and the fact that despite all of this, I know Ryan and I are still solid. To everyone who commented, whether you told me to leave or to stay, thank you. Your words helped me sort through my emotions in a way I don't think I could have done alone. And with that, I think this is the last update I'll make. Because now, it's time to move forward.
Subscribe to
The Human Condition.